Okay, so what if the biggest problem we have, waste, is actually our biggest hidden opportunity? We're going to look at how some of the world's top companies are using artificial intelligence to turn the stuff we throw away into pure value. And no, this isn't some far-off sci-fi thing. This is happening right now.
For basically all of modern history, our whole economy has run on this really simple but kind of destructive path. We take resources from the earth, we make things, and then we just chuck them. This take, make, waste model, it's literally a one-way street to a giant planetary landfill.
But what if it didn't have to be a straight line? What if it was a circle? Imagine having a tool so smart it could see waste before it's even created. A tool that could not only stop it, but actually flip it into a massive opportunity. That's the big idea we're diving into today.
All right, so let's get into it. First, we really need to get our heads around the huge difference between the old problem and this new promise. We're talking about going from a straight line to a perfect circle.
And here you can see it side by side. On the left, you've got that old, broken model, take, make, waste. It's a dead end, right? But on the right, you see this smarter, regenerative loop. Reduce, remanufacture, recycle. See, the goal isn't just to manage waste better. It's to design waste out of the picture completely right from the start, right?
Now, for a long time, this whole circular idea was kind of just a nice dream. The logistics, the complexity, it was just too much for us to handle on a global scale. But now we've got the key. The one thing powerful enough to actually unlock this new economy at scale, you guessed it, artificial intelligence.
And look, this isn't just some high-level theory. I'm about to show you 4 real-world examples of how this is happening right now inside some of the most innovative companies on the planet. These are actual wins that prove the circular economy is officially here.
First up, Caterpillar. So, picture this. A gigantic mining truck, way out in the middle of nowhere, breaks down. We're talking a multi-million-dollar operation that just stops. The old way to fix this? Fly in a brand new 5-ton engine. But the new AI-powered way? A tiny 10-pound replacement part had already arrived last week because an AI knew that engine was about to fail.
So how on earth did they do that? It's this amazing technology called a digital twin. Basically, Caterpillar creates a perfect virtual copy of every single engine. The real engine is covered in sensors, measuring temperature, vibration, you name it, and all that data gets fed to its digital twin in real time. Then an AI just watches that twin 24/7, spotting tiny patterns no human could ever see, and it can predict a failure weeks before it happens. It's incredible.
And the results? They're just staggering. They're using way fewer materials, they're remanufacturing the whole asset instead of just scrapping it, and they're cutting emissions by taking downtime from days to literally just 1 hour. It is a win-win-win across the board.
Okay, so that's heavy machinery. What about the stuff we buy every day? Take Unilever. They had a totally different but just as massive problem. For companies that make consumer goods, their #1 source of waste is in packaging. It's the stuff that never even gets sold. For decades, it's all been guesswork, which leads to these mountains of just-in-case inventory that mostly ends up in a landfill.
Well, Unilever's AI doesn't guess, it knows. It's crunching hundreds of variables in real time. Things like, what's the weather going to be? What's trending on social media? What are the live sales figures from stores, minute by minute? It takes all of that and predicts, with frankly stunning accuracy, exactly what needs to be on the shelf tomorrow.
You see, this is all about attacking waste before it even exists. It's not just about reducing the number of products thrown away. They're avoiding buying the raw materials to make those unwanted products in the first place. It's a total re-engineering of their supply chain, right from the very beginning.
All right, let's switch gears from physical stuff to energy. Data centers. The engines of our digital world, they are absolute energy hogs. And get this, almost half of their insane electricity bill comes from just one thing: running the AC at a single, dumb temperature setting all day, every day. So what did Google do? They let their AI, DeepMind, take the wheel. And this wasn't just programming some rules. This was something called reinforcement learning. They basically handed the AI the keys to the data center and said, you figure out the most efficient way to run this place. So the AI just started experimenting, learning how server loads, the weather outside, and even energy prices all connect. And the result was a 40% reduction in the energy used for cooling. Just let that sink in for a second. 40%. The AI didn't just find a tiny tweak, it fundamentally reinvented the energy strategy for the entire building, saving them hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, for our last example, let's go to the end of the line, recycling. Now, the single biggest problem with recycling is contamination. You know, when we toss the wrong thing in the wrong bin, it can ruin entire batches of good material. Human sorters, they're just too slow and, honestly, not accurate enough to catch everything. That means tons of valuable plastic gets downcycled into cheap stuff instead of being properly reused.
So enter AMP Robotics. They use AI-powered computer vision. Think of it like this. The robots can see a fast-moving conveyor belt and identify thousands of items a second. And they're not just telling plastic from paper. They can tell the difference between 7 different kinds of clear plastic that all look exactly the same to you and me.
And here is the absolute game changer. The AI creates a stream of material that is 99.9% pure. This stuff isn't waste anymore. It's a high-quality commodity that sells for 2 or 3 times the price. And this is the most important part. It's pure enough to be upcycled right back into new food-grade bottles. That is finally, truly closing the loop.
Okay, so we've seen these 4 incredible but very different examples. Now the big question is, how can these same ideas apply in your world? Let's turn these case studies into 4 questions I want you to think about.
First, let's take the Caterpillar model. Think about your own operations. What critical system do you have? Maybe it's a machine, maybe it's your car, maybe it's even a key piece of software that you basically just wait for it to break. How could you flip that to a predict and prevent model?
Second, the Unilever idea. Where in your business, or even your personal life, do you fall back on last year's numbers to guess what you'll need this year? Think about how much waste of time, of money, of materials comes from that just-in-case approach.
Third, let's think like AMP Robotics. Take a hard look at what you or your company throws away. Is there a waste stream in there that's really just a valuable material that's been contaminated by other stuff? Could an AI help you sort it, purify it, and turn something that costs you money into something that makes you money?
And finally, the Google model. What's your biggest, dumbest, most inflexible cost? Maybe it's your energy bill, or the fuel for your fleet. Where are you paying for a resource that just runs on a fixed, dumb schedule, when an AI could learn to optimize it on the fly?
You know, when you look at all these examples together, from massive engines to data centers, there's a clear pattern here. AI isn't just making old systems a little bit better. It's giving us a completely new way to see the world. It's changing our relationship with resources, with our assets, with energy itself. And that leaves us with one last big thought. What if waste isn't really a physical problem at all? What if it's just a failure of our imagination?